The music is such a blessing to come back to. Thank you for just the amazing sound. My Roman landlord of the Airbnb apartment I rented in Rome hates me. The first week I was there, I accidentally dropped the keys down the elevator shaft. The landlord rushed over from his home somewhere else in the city and gave me a second pair of keys and told me to be careful. I vowed to never mishandle them again. But then, 3 weeks later, I locked the keys inside the apartment. Unfortunately, the landlord still had not retrieved the first set of keys at the bottom of the elevator shaft, so he came to the apartment and taught me to break in. No lie. By taking the trim off the door and using any hard object to shimmy behind the door locks and push them over, I was learning to become a criminal in Italy. I think I know how the mafia got its start. Fortunately, I never needed to use this newfound knowledge of breaking and entry during the rest of my stay. All was good. That is, until the day I left the apartment. I managed to check off almost all of the boxes to vacate the place and was feeling quite good about myself. When I got to the airport, through the security, waiting to board the plane, I reached down into my pocket and there were those damn apartment keys. You can imagine the words that came out of my mouth. I ended up FedExing them the next day from London. I'm quite sure I'll never be rented to again by that landlord. There are so many things I could say about my 2.5 months of teaching in Rome. It was an amazing experience on many levels. As I shared in the Thursday blast, I classify my time in Rome as 80% awesome and 20% crazy. I made some great lifelong Italian friends. I ate great food, albeit mostly pizza and pasta on a daily basis, and marveled at the array of geological and historical wonders. I also squinted incredulously at the corrupted politics, not much different than our own, but also the several near-death experiences while riding in a taxi, and the bureaucracy's strange mixture of apathy and petty fascism. There's so much I could say, but let me simply share a few of the many takeaways. Romans are welcoming and sociable. There is a sense in Rome when dealing with people and with each other that we are all sailing on a leaky boat together, even if we're busy shouting at each other. Rome's colorful and engaging people are reflected in the extroverted culture. Extravagant hand gestures and loud banter make it easy to form an empathetic bond with every person that you come in encounter with. You'll get frustrated at people, perhaps even angry. I witnessed this many times, but you will never quite feel as alone as you do in America. Romans are both proud and critical of their rich history. This is one of the many cultural contrasts that make the culture so fascinating to me. If you are a type of person that finds comfort in a sober, orderly existence, then Rome is probably not the place for you. Conversely, if you thrive off a modicum of drama and chaos at all times, Rome will never disappoint. It will be a source of psychological energy. The whole city of Rome, and most of Italy for that matter, is an open museum. Mystery and surprise lurk around every corner and in every building and on every cobblestone street. One thing I love about Italy is that there's no separation between the populace and the architectural history. You can walk around and literally touch the ruins. Perhaps my favorite experience involved a day trip to Pompeii, just outside of Naples, and touring the ancient ruins of an entire city that had been covered in volcanic ash for 1,500 years. As a sociologist, I was reminded that societies have not really changed all that much, even in the last 2,000 years. Rome is also the perfect springboard to explore the rest of Italy and other parts of Europe. I was able to fly to Barcelona, Amsterdam, Paris, and London for weekend getaways. Everywhere is about 2 to 2.5 hour plane ride, everywhere, and costs you about €250 round trip to fly there. My favorite weekend was perhaps in Barcelona, maybe because I'd never been there before. I loved its Gothic culture and the direct contrast to the antiquity of Rome. I am already missing the European way of life. I will never forget strolling down the Tiber River on a daily basis towards the imposing presence of the Castle St. Angelo and experiencing a sense of awe each and every time. But mostly, I will never forget the people, the relationships I built. I will never forget the people at St. Andrew's Scottish Presbyterian Church who made me feel at home. And yes, served Italian wine at coffee hour. I will never forget my amazing students, the incredible staff at AIFS, the school I was working with, and the sense of wonder and feeling of being connected to the past, present, and future in a way that just does not happen in the United States. They say all roads lead to Rome. I now know what that means, both physically and metaphorically. I may never be able to rent the same apartment ever again, but I will certainly be back to Rome. Thank you, Southminster, for providing me the space for this once-in-a-lifetime experience, for your support of me both personally and professionally. Finito.